The Channel Tunnel Rail Link is the first major new railway to be constructed in the UK for over a century. The 108-kilometre track will stretch from central London to the Channel Tunnel, connecting Britain directly with Europe's expanding high-speed rail network and significantly reducing journey times for passengers. From 2007, trains will speed to Europe at approximately 300 kilometres per hour. The journey time between London and the Channel Tunnel will be an astonishing 35 minutes, and to Paris, just 2¼ hours. And the main Eurostar terminal? St Pancras Station in central London. Yes, I know it's not quite ready yet, but it is undergoing a major upgrade to transform it. It will be one of the largest passenger interchanges in Europe. Work will include the construction of new platforms, better bus, taxi and coach facilities, and the refurbishment of that grand old Grade 1 listed station and hotel. Its greater capacity will enable up to 8 Eurostars to run per hour each way, and twice the number of services at peak times that are presently provided. All this by 2007.
St Pancras refurbished? Well, hang on a minute. I hope you're not intending to tinker with my design. What's all this? Well, let me see those drawings. Oh. So St Pancras will be refurbished. You mean you're going to tidy the old place up? And about time, too. Left to rot it was. Quite literally rot. Oh, my beautiful hotel. My beautiful... And Barlow's terminal? Barlow? Barlow! Where the devil are you, man? The station's being refurbished.
What are you on about, Scott?
The station's being refurbished. And look at these plans. I'd say they're finally going to respect our hard work. It looks as if they're going to peel off the ghastly layers of the 20th century and expose St Pancras as the Gothic wonder that it was.
And wasn't it, Scott? When the board of the Midland Railway told me to get cracking, I had no idea what a challenge it would be. I had to figure out how to get track over Regent's Canal and alongside King's Cross. A mammoth task. But all I ever got from them was... make it grand, make it huge, and make it better than the competition. Having crossed the Regent's Canal with a bridge, I ended up with the track some 17 feet above street level. Then I had to cross the graveyard of St Pancras Church.
Do you remember passers-by spotted the emergence of decaying skulls and bones? It was a public outrage. The Midland Railway Company was forced to arrange a reburial. What was that poet chap? Thomas Hardy, a supervisor involved in that. His poem, The Levelled Churchyard, and In the Cemetery Recall It.
Yes, and a London-wide outbreak of cholera led to the requirement to enclose the Fleet River entirely in iron.
And several thousand squalid slum houses in Eager Town and Somerstown were demolished.
Quite. Clearing more or less from Euston Road to Camden Square and the North London Railway. My solution was a single arched train shed raised above the street on an undercroft, with direct access from the street to the storage areas beneath the station. Its construction was, quite frankly, an amazing feat of engineering.
Yes, quite so. The navvies did well.
The navvies were skilled men, named from the canal navigators. Many came from Yorkshire, Lancashire and Ireland. Casual labour was used for unskilled work. Old navvies were rare. 40 was a good age. They lived alongside constructions in shanties. Navvies changed the face of the country, building viaducts, cuttings, tunnels and embankments, using sheer muscle power. It was a hard life, permanently soaked with little chance of getting dry. They suffered from fumes and gas in the tunnels. Their food was poor and their water polluted. Deaths and injuries were commonplace in a climate of 24-hour shift work with no time off.
Ow! Completed in 1868, some 8 years before your final pink brick of the hotel was laid.
Yes, with that sensational single-span iron and glass roof over the enormous space. Barlow, old chap, with its Gothic profile, your almighty train shed was truly a cathedral of the steam age.
Well, as that clever Dicky book says,
Its 243-foot span was not an exceptional dimension for bridges as we know, but for an interior it was extraordinary, especially extended in depth to form the widest and largest undivided space ever enclosed. The skeletal transparency of the ferrovitreous vault added a futuristic, magic dimension to the stunning space, especially as the vault was made to spring from the platform level where the passengers stood. Work on the station started in 1866. It took 6,000 men with 1,000 horses and 100 steam cranes 4 years to complete. The wrought iron roof was 689 feet long, rising to 100 feet above the platform. At the time, it was the largest single-span roof in the world.
and without internal supports. Those wrought iron arched ribs that support the roof were made by the Butterley Iron Company. They put their name in white on each rib over the platform. The floor girders, which the trains run over, tie the ribs together. And at the crown of the roof, the arch is slightly pointed, which, I suspect, offers an advantage in resisting any lateral wind action.
By pure coincidence, that broken apex feature anticipated the Gothic architecture of the station frontage.
Then there was the decision to use the space under the station as a dispensary for beer, what with a large proportion of the trade using the Midland line. The whole structure rests on columns beneath the station, between which the barrels of Burton beer were stored. The distance between the columns was based on the dimensions of the barrels. Loaded wagons were carried down by hydraulic lifts. Then the barrels were taken out into London by drays. We opened for traffic on the 1st of October, 1868. Look at the detail. And the booking hall, with its 6 pairs of arch windows. We completed that in 1869.
The craftsmanship.
Those workmen took such pride.
And gained quite a result. Not bad for £436,000.
But I only spent 117,000. That means you spent 319,000.
Yes, all right. I think they've had enough of your shed now, Barlow. So, in May 1865, while the station was still being constructed, the Midland Railway Company launched a competition for the design of a 300-bedroom hotel. 11 architects were asked to submit their entries, and I, Sir George Gilbert Scott,
got completely carried away and submitted a grand plan, bigger and far more expensive than the original specification.
But my barefaced audacity paid off, and I was awarded the contract.
Though the directors did demand some hefty cost-cutting. They made you knock off 2 floors of office accommodation and 1 level from the hotel.
The Midland Railway considered they would attract a large number of passengers from their own station hotel, and we started construction of the Midland Grand Hotel in 1867. This daunting, daring, and hugely expensive structure crowned the railway era in thousands of tons of brick, iron, polished granite, and limestone, in caustic tiles, and with my exotic cafes, hydraulic ascending rooms, revolving doors, suites of rooms with gold leaf walls, concrete floors, a Moroccan coffee shop, and blazing fires in every room. It was grand in every way.
Who knows what liaisons were held here? Or what guests really thought of that impossibly rich Gothic decor.
Pardon me?
Oh, nothing.
With construction in a number of stages, the hotel did not open to customers until May the 5th, 1873. The completed station and hotel had used 60 million bricks and 9,000 tons of ironwork, including polished columns of 14 different British granites and limestone.
And all this before the time of ensuite bathrooms. We had an army of servants scuttling around these rooms, laden with tubs, bowls, spittoons, and chamber pots. What a place!
The process of adding fixtures and fittings was contentious, as the Midland Company were not happy at Scott's perceived extravagances, and only in late 1876 was he finally paid off. Altogether, the hotel fabric cost more than £304,000, decoration and fittings £49,000, furnishings £84,000, adding up to a not inconsiderable £437,000.
Remember the ladies' drawing room? Became known as the ladies' smoking room in the 1890s. It was the first of its kind in London. Caused quite a stir, didn't it?
But despite the best efforts of the hotel orchestra downstairs, the noise of the trains below and the proximity of soot, steam and cinders to bed linen, pyjamas and moustaches seemed uncongenial to many guests. Apparently the place prospered until after the First World War, but nothing could protect it from the demand for a flushing water closet contraption. Well, they were installed later. But by then people were already going elsewhere. It closed in 1935.
Renamed St Pancras Chambers, the building became railway offices. It survived being heavily bombed in the First World War and in the Blitz. Threatened with demolition in the 1960s, St Pancras was saved largely due to the efforts of Sir John Betjeman and the Victorian Society. Its neighbour to the west, however, was less fortunate. At least this incredible building was saved from being swept away, and was awarded Grade 1 listed status in recognition of its importance as an example of high Victorian Gothic architecture. In the 1980s, the building failed its fire certificate and was closed down, remaining empty ever since. In the 1990s, British Rail and English Heritage spent millions of pounds cleaning the hotel and making it safe. Small groups of enthusiasts have taken tours, marvelling at the evidence of Scott's original vision.
So, the rebirth of St Pancras as an international rail link, eh?
A vivid imagination is needed to visualise an international gateway for train travellers. I think I ought to go and find whoever's in charge. He'll probably need a few pointers. Excuse me. Hello?
Wait on, old chap! Steady on!
These modern navvies in those interestingly hard hats should be using the utmost care with those monster-engined contraptions. I'll want to make sure they understand what they're dealing with. St Pancras is a national treasure, you know, Barlow.
The transparent extension, more than double the existing length, is needed to cater for the 400-metre-long Eurostar trains. The station's 500 million revamp will see its 6 platforms increased to 13. They reckon on similar passenger capacity to Heathrow's Terminal 4. The vast space beneath the station will be uncovered to create customs and immigration control, plus a thoroughfare lined with shops and cafes, while the old building's Victorian splendour will be preserved.
Good.
There will also be new entrances and ticket halls, new passenger interchanges to the tube, and below ground, a station for Thameslink services.
That sounds structural. You'll need my expertise for this, Scott.
Well, maybe we should give this Lansley chap a chance. Although there's probably no harm in checking out the foreman.
And St Pancras Chambers will be restored as a hotel with private apartments.
So the building's heritage will be preserved.
You know, Dirk Bogarde stood on the steps of our station in that film, The Servant. Oh, And those spicy girls, they were caught clambering all over your grand staircase.
Were they? Were they really?